my cousin. My mom called my cousin, and she came and she picked me up from Tallahassee, packed all my stuff up, and I basically left him there because he had to do jail time. Welcome back to my channel. If you want to see how I get ready and talk about my rags to riches or cashier to becoming a nurse practitioner, stay tuned. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get to it. Okay, y'all, welcome back to the channel. I don't know why my hair like that. Look like it's talking to me, like it want laundry. Anywho, welcome back to my channel. We're gonna do a get ready with me, but from being a cashier to being a nurse practitioner. Y'all remember, I have a little disclosure. I'm not an MUA. Remember what I said? I'm not an MUA. So what I do fits me, and I had to do trial and error to basically make my makeup work for me. My skin tone is very golden undertone, very fair skin, so it's hard for me to find foundation. The girl, when I went to Miami Design District, oh, I lied. That's not what I went there for. I went to the Boca Mall, but I don't even remember what I went to the Boca Mall for. Oh, I had to return some shoes. I ended up buying some Gucci loafers. They looked at, I don't know what I was smoking, drinking that day when I went there to get the Gucci loafers. I actually went to go get my Chanel bag, and I just happened to fall upon some Gucci loafers, and I got them. And then when I got home, they were ugly. It's something about that store light, honey. That store light be making you want to buy things when you really don't want to buy things, like Target. Like, anywho, back to my topic. So I went to the Sephora at the Boca Mall, and this girl, she was like, I really love this. It's called Hourglass. And long behold, when I went to the Miami Design District, the guy, I was looking for a good red lip, and he suggested for me to get the Hourglass red lipstick. You remember when I showed y'all that and I took it to Aruba? I don't even think I wore it in Aruba. Anywho, so my skin is extra dry because I put acne medication on, which I told y'all is the Curology. I have a little bit of blemish like right here, but that's because I'm allergic to the hair dye, that the blonde hair that I have in, I'm allergic to it. Every time I wear it, I break out in the chin area where the hair basically lies. But I remember, y'all remember I told y'all, I'm very sensitive. My skin is a very sensitive skin that I just don't understand why. My hair and my skin, like my hair, it can't take tension. The moment it does, it just poof, be gone, literally. So let's get into it. So I graduated high school in 2005. Yes. At the time I was going to Boynton High, and I remember my science teacher, she told me that she was from FAMU, but my science teacher at the time was, my favorite science teacher at the time was in middle school, Miss Bradley. Anybody that knows Miss Bradley knows, like, she's the one who inspired, she definitely inspired me. I don't know about the other kids, but it was very nice to see like a black teacher telling you all the colleges that they went to, not all of the colleges, all the degrees that they achieved. That's what I meant to say. All the degrees that they achieved. And it was just like, wow, it's so amazing. So my journey started off at Boynton High when they're basically saying, you know, y'all need to figure out, y'all seniors now, y'all need to figure out where you want to go for college. Me going away for college was not in my, it wasn't in my to-do list as a teenager because I didn't know of it. I'm my parents' first generation who went to college. So I knew when I used to read Sweet Valley High books, I would hear and read about it, but I didn't really know what college was basically about. So I applied to FAMU. I went to FAMU. I had a long distance relationship here and where I live local in Palm Beach County at the time. And my boyfriend at the time was like, you know, wait a minute. I'm going a little bit too far. I'm jumping ahead of the game. I need to tell y'all what I was gonna go to school for. So my mom wanted me to go to school for a nurse, typical Haitian, as you know, typical Caribbean parents. That's what they think, that can only achieve money. Are they wrong? Absolutely. But anywho, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just lie to her and be like, I'm gonna go for nursing. In actuality, baby, I was going to become a lawyer. I wanted to be a lawyer. I never attended debate class because, like I told you, I have a Haitian mother. They're very microscopic type of parenting. They want to know where you at, what you doing, who you with, all types of stuff. In her mind, if I stayed after school, 9 out of 10 is because I was messing or talking to some kind of boy, which was far from it. I even remembered, I remember my, cause I was basically what you called a latchkey kid, which means when your parents are not home and you get off of school and you basically gotta fend for yourself, like warm up food and do what you gotta do by yourself, like your homework. At the time they called it latchkey kid. I don't know what they call it now because baby, y'all got care.com. Y'all be calling all types of nannies to watch our kids, baby. Nobody watched us. Only Jesus watched us. You feel me? Jesus and God watched us in that damn house. I swear to you. Anywho, so I was never able to go to like a debate club or anything like that, but I remember vaguely I used to love watching law stuff. It intrigued me. I really liked it. So I got accepted to FAMU. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. I was so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really gonna go away for college. I'm really gonna experience this college life. I'm like, I was so amazed. And I was so shocked that my mom allowed me to leave, and I think it's because I showed her some type of responsibility that I did have. And I literally told her, I do not want to be here for school, like for college. I want to go away. And at the time I knew of Miami, but I felt like if I would have went to school in Miami, 9 out of 10, I would have definitely became a stripper. We speaking the truth, right? This to get ready. This the from cashier to nurse practitioner, baby. I was like, oh, if I go down there, I know I'm gonna be heavily influenced. I know for a fact I'm gonna say at school and I'm just gonna become a stripper. So I decided to go to Tallahassee. Went to Tallahassee August of 2005. At the time I had a local boyfriend from Palm Beach. That's what I meant to say. Like I was jumping a little bit ahead of the game. So my mom put me in a dorm and everything like that. And I started going to class. So a year in, excelling, doing good in class, you know, doing everything that I have to do. My mom over here thinking that I'm already in nursing school. I'm like, no, mom, I'm actually doing prereqs. And the prereqs is what determines if I could get into nursing school, period. You feel me? So, at that time, that year in, my boyfriend was like, I'm tired of this long distance relationship. I basically want to come to Tallahassee and live with you in Tallahassee. Wrong! When I tell you, that was the most dumbest thing I could ever done. And I didn't know, i.e. he's 10 years older than me. I did not know. I was only 18, baby. I was like 17. No, I was 17 at the time. I did not know the game. I did not know, you know, FAM was a party city. FAM gets an influx of new girls every 4 to 5 months because you have people who come in the fall and people who come in the spring. So every 4 to 5 months, there's a new faces. There's and summer. Add summer on top of it, because some people, they go back home for the summer and they'll just take college courses that equates or equal to the credit that they go to at their university. Baby, I did not know that. So hear me. Here I go. Yeah, babe. Like, I'm thinking that's a very smart idea. I'm going to come up here and we could just do this relationship thing and this and that. And it's so crazy because at the time, I didn't really see them guys as, you know, somebody that I wanted to talk to, because the camp is so small. It's like, if you talk to one, it's like you talk to all. So I was like, let me just stick to my little local boyfriend. And in actuality, I should have just really dated somebody on campus. We had the same mind frame. I don't know what I was smoking, drinking at the time. I told y'all. So we lived together. In 7 months of us living together, I ended up getting pregnant. So in the midst of getting pregnant, I'm over here like, oh my gosh, my mom sent me away to college and I end up getting knocked up. Like, what the hell? What did I just do? Like, are you serious? Am I that dumb? Yeah. So long story short, I decided I.E. to keep my baby. That's CJ. He'll be 16 in November. So 16 years ago. So I decided to keep my baby, and I left him when I was 6 months pregnant. Yes, honey, because let me tell you something. One thing about me in relationships, I don't play that. And when I mean I don't play that, I don't play the cheating thing. I don't play the lying thing. I don't play that you can't provide. He was a provider, and that's where I learned to not depend on a guy, because I told him straight up, my mom brought me here to go to school. Like, I'm not going to be working and helping you paying bills. I'm not doing that. So he was the person who paid for everything. In hindsight, it also gave him that macho feeling of, because I'm paying for everything, I can do whatever I want to do. I can mistreat you anywhere I want to mistreat you. I can talk to you anywhere I want to talk to you, because I run this. Without this, where you gonna go? And truth be told, I should have seen the red flags and just took my black ass straight back to the damn dorms where my damn mama had put me at. Anywho, so he was, you know, a fast-paced type of guy, meaning he was getting fast money. Anybody who knows the code for fast money knows what fast money means. So he got jammed up. In the midst of getting jammed up, he had to go to prison. So I'm at that time probably like 7, 8 months pregnant. Who's gonna hire me? What am I gonna do? So I called my mom and I was like, Mom, hey, what's up? Listen, I'm pregnant. My mom flipped the fuck out and was like, you're pregnant? What the fuck? Like, okay, you're not keeping it. I was like, actually, I have to, because I'm like 8 months pregnant. At the time, no, I lied, because that was in August. Was that August? No, that was in September going into October. So I was really like 7-ish going to 8 months, about to have a baby. And she's like, what? So I had to give her the whole rundown of everything. But I was still going to school, baby. Big belly and all, baby. I was not playing. At the time, I was taking trigonometry. And that was my first time getting a B in math. I always get an A in math. And everybody else was failing. Everybody was like, girl, you pregnant and you passed it, and you over here, you know, being hard on yourself. Anywho, so I decided to call my cousin. My mom called my cousin, and she came and she picked me up from Tallahassee, packed all my stuff up, and I basically left him there because he had to do jail time. It's what it is. He had to go to jail. Like, he had to go to jail. So here I am back home, trying to determine how in the world am I going to go back to school. So in the midst of me being at home, with nothing to do, being big belly, no money, he can't send me money. He's locked up, and he's locked up in a county that he doesn't even know anybody. And the person he did know of, he ended up passing away because he was basically at the wrong place at the wrong time. and they killed him. I think he was going clubbing or something like that, and they shot him, but the bullet wasn't even intended for him. Like I said, bullet don't have no names. Anywho, so I'm like, okay, I need to get on my P's and Q's. I really need to get some, because I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not trying to pass judgment on anybody who works at, you know, cashier register places, but I was like, the type of lifestyle I want, I know Walmart will not be able to give it to me, period. But I know that now, because I did have this little bit of a hurdle that I have to jump over, I have to do this type of job. So I was like, but for me to get a job, I need to pay for daycare. Looking for how much daycare costs, I was like, oh no, baby, there's no way I could afford daycare, because my 1 week daycare payment is my whole damn paycheck. Mind you, at the time, people were only getting $7.75, and I think people are still getting $7.75 if I'm not mistaken. So anywho, I didn't even tell y'all where I'm going. We're going to Ruth Chris tonight. That's it. Back to the story. Okay. So I ended up looking, searching. One thing about me, baby, I'ma search. I'ma do a fine-tuned search on some stuff, baby. And I know y'all probably been like, what you should have did was search some birth control pills. That's what you should have did, and you wouldn't be in this predicament that you in right now. But baby, get this. I was on birth control pills. My dumb tail, and this is what I mean by, you know, that patient to provider relationship when it comes to communication and knowing what to tell a patient is highly, 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 highly important. So I brought my ass to Tallahassee, not knowing that for you to get a refill of your birth control pill, you have to go and do a pap smear. So now I have to go get a whole nother OBGYN. Mind you, your first year at FAMU, you can't have a car. So I'm like, I don't even know where to go. So I just gave up on it. Literally gave up on it. And I don't want to hear that past judgment of, you should wear condoms. Baby, honey, let me tell you something. When y'all in a committed relationship, some of y'all don't even be wearing condoms anyway by the first night of you meeting somebody. So please don't come over here. Anywho, back to regular scheduled program of this damn story. So I'm flipping, and I'm like Googling shit, trying to figure out what am I going to do. And this is when I read about Head Start. And I'm like, Head Start? I'm like, my mom had me in Head Start when I was a toddler. I didn't know that they did infant too. So, sorry. So, as I'm flipping through, I'm calling around, and they have this Head Start off of Delray Beach. Mind you, at the time, I'm 7-8 months pregnant, trying to get all my paperwork and everything together to see what I can do once this baby come out. Where am I gonna go? What am I gonna do? I don't know what. So long story short, ooh, I forgot this is so pigmented. I should have just did 2 pumps, and I did 3. I'm calling around this one facility for Head Start that does take kids. They were like, oh, you're so lucky. We're just starting to accept infants. And I was like, at what age? And she was like, we'll take them up to a month old. I was like, ooh. She was like, yeah, as long as they have their Hep B vaccine, we will gladly take a newborn baby. I was like, oh my God. So I'm over here like, okay, ma'am, what type of paperwork do I need to give you? She was like, all you have to do really is just give me an income. Like, do you work? And I was trying to tell her, no, I don't work. I'm trying to go back to school to be a full-time student so I can finish school and do what I gotta do to provide for me and my child. And she was like, okay, let's have a meeting, come to my office, and you could fill out all the paperwork and everything. Here I am waddling with my mom. So my mom was like, okay, so you found free daycare. So I'm like, yeah, but she's telling me that I have to come in to fill out paperwork and everything like that. So my mom took me to fill out the paperwork. I filled out the paperwork. I'm talking to the lady, And the lady was like, oh, what school did you go to? She was like, oh, so you're starting to go to school. I said, no, actually, I already finished my prereqs. I just need to go ahead and apply for a program that I want to basically further my education in. Because by the time I left FAMU, I basically had like my associates. The only thing that stopped me was calculus, and I'll tell you why calculus had stopped me. I think calculus in another course, but I'll tell you why. So she was like, oh my gosh, I'm in school too, and we was just talking, and she was like, you know what, I really like you. I just like the way that you are researching things. You have goals. This is the type of people that we really want to help with Head Start. Like people who want to further themselves in life, basically, long story short. So I was like, you can see what I mean by when I said I should have just, I don't even need 2 pumps. I just need like a pump and a half, because it even covered up my little blemishes, baby. So back to the story. So she was like, yeah. Long story short, by the time I left there, they approved me. They were like, we'll accept your baby. When's your baby due? And I was like, my baby's supposed to be due December 3rd, but I'm supposed to go back to school January 6th, January 4th to January 6th. And she was like, fine, no problem. She was like, we provide the milk. You don't have to give us milk. The government gives you milk. It gives you Infamil. So try your best to see if the baby will accept Infamil, and if the baby accepts Infamil, then it's perfectly fine. She was like, the most that you probably would have to do to bring us is just a couple of changes of clothes. We have diapers here, we have wipes here, but if we do run low, we'll probably just ask for a couple of diapers here and there. But that's if we're running low type situation. She was like, and then we just want extra bottles with the baby name on it, so that bottle goes to that baby type situation. I was like, okay. Mind you, I was 19 at the time, because I turned 19 in June and I was still pregnant with my baby. I got pregnant with my baby, I think around, I don't even remember when I conceived him. Anywho, that's not even needed. So I was still pregnant in June, so I had turned 19 when I was pregnant. And my baby was supposed to be born December 3rd. I'm so sorry. So, boom. Fast forward, water breaks. My water break, I had my baby November 29th. Right after Thanksgiving. I guess he wanted to eat some turkey, baby. I don't know what it was, but he was waiting for that damn turkey, honey. He was like, So, I had my baby November 29th. So, I stayed home with him from November 29th to January 6th, when I was supposed to start school. At the time, micros was the thing, baby. I had micros in my hair. My baby daddy's sister did them for me for free. So I had micros in my hair. A long story short, my baby started school. So I brought him into school around, was it November? Like the beginning of November, before I had him. I went to PBCC at the time, and I went to the one in Boca to fill out all the paperwork and everything. This is when shit got real. So he was like, thank God I went to FAMU, because FAMU and a lot of the schools down in Florida is considered to be a 2+2 school. 2+2 schools means your course credit is the same course credit as that college. So for me, I was well above what I needed, because I took organic 1, I took organic 2, I took chemistry, I took anatomy. I just didn't take anatomy 2. So they were like, here's a list of things that you can go into right away, and then here's a list of things that you would probably need like 1 or 2, 3 classes to get in. So when I went back home, I'm over here contemplating, and I was like, you know what, I just need something that's gonna make me some good ass money. I could have a job any and everywhere that I go to, and I'm not working as much. And the only thing that I could see was a registered nurse. That was it. So when I went back, he was like, okay, so if you want to become a registered nurse, you're only missing, I'm sorry, it wasn't calculus, it was statistics. I was only missing statistics, political science, anatomy 2, and I think that was it. Just those 3 courses. So I took them 3 courses, baby, banged them out. And it's so crazy because my anatomy teacher, she did not know that I had a newborn baby. I always came to class on time. I always, you know, I was pristine, baby, because the daycare opens from 8 to 5. So I took 9 o'clock classes because it gave me time to drop my baby off, and from Delray to drive to Boca Glades. It gave me enough time to go park my car, get into class. I was always 15-20 minutes early in class. Sometimes the door was still locked, but I would just sit there, study, and get it on and popping, baby. Basically, I put too much foundation, so I'm trying to put some of the foundation back in this little container thing, because it's just too much. It's just too much. Ooh, and it made a little bit of a mess, but it's all right. So the way that she found out that I had a newborn baby was, well, he wasn't considered to be a newborn anymore, because I think by the time I went to school, he was still considered being a newborn. My bad. She wanted us to participate in some kind of study group. She was like, why don't y'all get together and be in a study group? And because at that time we had to know the anatomy of a cat, like the tendons and all that stuff, to pass your final exam. That was the final exam. So she was like, I think I would basically benefit from doing a study group, and I had to raise my hand, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I can't participate in the study group because they were pairing us literally. And she was like, why? And I was like, oh, because I have a newborn. And she was like, what? You have a newborn? She was like, how do you study? And that's why I told her, like, I study right after I get my son. I'll bathe him, fix his food, do everything like that. And once I settle him down, then I go ahead and I study. And she's like, I am so like amazed. Like, you come here not tired, you're passing all your tests, like you go over and beyond sometimes with work, and I would not think that you had a newborn. I'm like, yeah, I have a newborn. She was like, it's all right. You don't have to do it. I think you'll do fine on the exam. You already have good cushion. Professors in college, anybody that's been in college know, baby, your cushion grade is the best grade, because that means even if you get an F on the final, you will still end up with a B minus, close to a C. So you still passing. It's just your GPA might be down a little bit, but you're still passing. So bomb. So now, I passed the 3 courses. I went to go, because what happened was, in nursing school at Palm Beach State College, which was known as PBCC, you could have basically take pharmacy during the summer just to get it out the way before you get accepted into the program. So that was the only course that you could take without being in nursing school. So here I go to the Lake Worth campus, because the Boca campus does not have nursing. It only has it in the Lake Worth campus. So here I go to the Lake Worth campus, and before y'all ask me and you say, well, why didn't you go to FAU to get your bachelor's? Baby, you remember I said I needed something quick, fast, and I could be a registered nurse in 2 years instead of 4. So that was my go-to, because technically speaking, with, me missing 3 courses, it would have made me 5 years instead of just, like the 3 courses plus the 2 years of nursing school. So that's how that happened. So I went to Lake Worth, because at the time you had to basically speak to the president of nursing. So she was like, oh, okay. So I'm talking to her and she was like, so are you a CNA? No. Are you an LPN? No. She's like, so you just want to straight up jump into becoming an RN? I was like, yeah. She was like, oh, you're going to fail. You're not going to pass. I don't think that's the right decision for you. I think you need to be a CNA first. That's what she told me. She was like, I think you need to be a CNA first. And then you need to go ahead and apply for the nursing school. And try. She was like, well, when I said CNA, I was like, no, I don't want to be a CNA. She was like, okay, well, try to get an LPN school because I don't think you're going to get into the RN program. And I was like, so what determines you to get into the RN program? Because all I read was you meet with the president, you make sure you have these courses done, which I do have done. My GPA is a 3.8. What is it? I'm actually trying to go into pharmacy school, so I have less lectures in nursing school beginning that I could have more of a higher chance of passing my first semester of nursing school. She was like, I'm just telling you, you don't know all of the terminologies, you don't know this, you don't know that. And I'm like, okay, but that's what nursing school is about, right? They're gonna teach me, it's fundamentals. I know they're gonna teach me fundamentals. And she's like, yeah, you're right, we are gonna teach you fundamentals, but I think your best bet is to start off as being an LPN. And I was like, no, I don't wanna be an LPN. I wanna be an RN. That's what I said I wanna do, and that's what I'm gonna do. So long story short, she approved me to do the pharmacy. So I took pharm during the summer. Baby, when I tell you that shit kicked my ass, but I passed. I passed with a B. I passed with a B, and I went back into her office, and oh, I lied. It was pharmacy and human growth and development, baby. And she was like, that's where she was like, you're gonna have problems in human growth and development, and you're really not going to really succeed that much. And I was like, no, I will. And I said I wanted to be a registered nurse, and that's what I'm going for. I kid you not. Guess who was my human growth and development professor? Her ass. So I'm like, oh my God. When I seen that bitch in lecture, I was like, she's the professor? What the fuck? I was like, oh my gosh, like what the hell? Because at the time, they had this little thing called Grade My Professor, where you can see how a professor is with teaching, with passing and all that, and you can determine, well, for human growth development, it was only one teacher at the time that did human growth and development, and it was her. I'm like, oh my fucking God, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. I was like, okay, V, you know how to study. You need to be on your P's and Q's, baby. I came out of human growth and development with an A. I was like, I'm gonna teach this lady a lesson, literally. So came out of human growth development with an A, came out of pharmacy with a B. So now I'm putting in all my little paperwork and all this other stuff to go ahead and get accepted into nursing school. So I put my paperwork in, did all of that, and they're like, okay, you just have to go ahead and just wait. We'll call you, we'll contact you, because it's based on your GPA. It was based upon a lot of stuff. Like they gave you points, and the points have to be accumulated to a certain amount. Girl, I don't remember. This been 10 years ago, baby. Actually 11. So I don't remember what the points had to accumulate to, but it had to be high for you to get into the program. I'm checking my email. I'm calling, constantly calling. She's like, we're gonna get into you. We're gonna call you. So I was like, okay, let me stop bugging these people. Okay, no problem. Let me just stop bugging these people. They called me. And she was like, may I speak to Valentia? And I was like, speaking. And she was like, we want to say congratulations. I was like, oh my God. I started crying. Like, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo fucking crying, like boo-hoo fucking crying. So they're like, we want to say congratulations, you got accepted into nursing school. Mind you, I was living with my mom at the time. My boyfriend at that time finally got out of jail, and he basically wanted me to move in with him. So now I'm bargaining. I'm like, my mom's giving me a hard time, and I know why she's giving me a hard time, because she did not send me to go to school to get a baby. She sent me to school to go get a goddamn degree. Okay? So I'm like, I know why she's mad, but she didn't make it no easy, baby. She did not make it easy for me at all whatsoever. And I think her treating me that way gave me more motivation to be like, okay, I need to get this done. I need to do this right now. I need to be on my P's and Q's. I can't be fucking up. I really need to go ahead and finish what I gotta finish so I could get my own place and just be out my mama hair. Because my mama was, when I tell you pressure, when I tell you, you know that saying that they be like, go to hell with gasoline draws? Baby, it was a whole propane tank on my ass. Literally. Just blazing. Every morning this lady would cuss me out. Like every morning she would cuss me out. Like every morning when I'm getting ready to drop my baby off to daycare, she is cussing me, literally, like cussing me out. So long story short, oh my God, I forgot to tell you about my car. So, okay. So when I finally had my baby, I was driving my cousin's car. She had like a new up-to-date Honda Civic. I still remember this Honda Civic to this day. And it was a nice and clean baby. So she let me drive her car. And then my mom finally was like, you know, you had money saved up for, I think it was for my college tuition to be paid off. But she was like, now that you know you got a kid, I ain't paying for nothing. Here's $5,000. Try to find you a car. I'm like, so in my mind, I'm like, baby, all I could find is a car that they be parking on the roadside saying for sale. I.e., that's how I ended up getting my Honda Civic, a 1998 Honda Civic, baby. When I tell you that thing only needed $20, not even $20. I think it really needed $15. $20 to go to the F-tank to be full. Baby, that was the best car I ever had. And to this day, I be thinking about that car, baby, because when I be pumping up my gas in that Lexus truck, I be like, ooh. But the Lexus don't take that much anyways. But anywho, so y'all know, now I had to squeeze in the little 98 Honda in. I am so sorry, y'all. So I'm tooting and booting with my little 98 Honda, baby. Tooting and booting to school. Tooting and booting to school. So at the time, my mom was like, okay, you kind of got your feet together. You know what you got to do. You know where you got to go. You need to go ahead and try to get a little part-time job. Mind you, I told y'all I started nursing school. And because it's a 2-year course, the first day of nursing school, you're learning fundamentals. You're learning body mechanics, how to get a patient in and out of bed, what's blood pressure, what's a temperature, what does an elevated temperature means, what does a high blood pressure means, like what does a high respiratory rate is, what is a fucking respiratory rate. Mind you, when I'm sitting down and this lady is over here telling me all this thing, I'm like, now it's clicking to why this lady told me you need to go ahead and have some kind of medical background to achieve. So I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know none of this. What the fuck is a blood pressure? I'm like, people have blood pressures? I'm like, what is this? So baby, one thing about me, baby, you gotta fake it to make it. That's one thing that my mom always taught me, baby. If you don't know something, you act like you know it, or you ask questions and you later on do your research. But baby, I was not gonna go here and end up asking these people what a blood pressure is. But thank God that I guess our nursing and skills, you always have like those nursing professors who's been a nurse, and they kind of feel it. They know how it is as a first new nurse, instead of the ones who are vet that be thinking that they were born fucking Florence Nightingale and be giving you damn hell. Well, thank God we had one of those nurses who was really sweet and compassionate. And she was like, this is a blood pressure. This is what it means when she broke it down for us, baby. I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus, for the Lord. Baby, I was so forever grateful for her. I'm over here just taking notes. And I realized, okay, this I cannot play around with. I have to be focused. I can't be going out with my friends. I just need to go ahead and just focus on my kid, focus on school, and that's it. My friends will call me, can't do it. Turn them down. Can't do it. I'm so sorry. Catch me when my graduation, we'll party day in, day fucking out. I can't do it. Don't even call me. Don't even call me. I'm in nursing school. Don't even call me. Like, I'm good. And I'm over here just like listening to the stories that they'll say that they'll have. Like, oh, girl, we had so much fun. And I'm over here like, I know. It's all good, though. I'll have my fun when the time comes. I'm going to have my fun. I'm going to have my fun. So, a long story short, I got a job at Bell's. Not the outlet, but the actual store. I worked in the men's department. Me and this girl named Osna. Oh my gosh. It's so funny. Me and Osna had a ball at that damn store. Let me tell you something about old people. Old people like to shop, and they love a bargain, baby. So they started me off with $7.75, baby. I thought I was in the money. Mind you, this was my first job. My first job as a fucking 20-year-old. My first job. Because my mom, she wasn't the type that would tell you to go to a school. She really wanted you to focus on school and just be the best person that you can, and you'll work later. Because she's like, one thing about working, you will forever be working. So I want you to not get tired by the time you're like 23, 24 and you have to go to work type situation. So I'm at Bell's, make my little $7.75. Mind you, at the time, I was not paying daycare. So I'm milking the daycare, milking it. On the weekends, I would drop my son off to my cousin's house and just go to work Saturday and Sunday. Monday through Thursday, because that's when my clinical days were, I was in school. I was at the hospital learning. And then on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was working at Bell's. Mind you, baby, I think my check was like, for 2 weeks, I think it was only like $278. It was enough for me to put gas in my tank. And if I was hungry, I could go and grab like a light snack or something to eat. Because my mom was not playing that. My mom was like, you finna learn today. You finna learn today. And then on top of that, she was charging me room and board. Yes, honey. She was like, oh, you gonna have to give me $200. You don't have to put groceries in the house. You're going to have to, I didn't pay for my car insurance because I was underneath hers. And baby, where was I gonna find the money anyways to pay for the car insurance, number one. So when she was giving me all this stuff that I gotta do, I gotta pay light bill too. I'm like, well, goddamn, bitch, like, what the fuck you think I'm making out here? Like, what? So I ended up meeting one of my boyfriends, and at the time, he was just so proud of me that I was even going to school. He was like, man, you don't know. It's a lot of females out here who not doing that, V. Like, I'm so proud of you. Like, keep going hard. So he would slip me money to get my little hair done, slip me money. You know, he was taking care of a sister. Literally taking care of a sister. So with the little money that I was getting from him, I was able to, like, you know, get my nails done. I was still getting my nails done, but I wasn't doing no damn design. I was getting just a regular polish, sitting down, waiting 30 minutes for my nails to dry, because baby, if I bump it, I'm gonna be extremely hard. I'm gonna be extremely mad, I meant to say. So he was just sliding me a little money right here and there. And then I realized, I'm like, hold up. If I'm paying room and board, technically speaking, that means I'll be qualified for food stamp. Baby, that's all I had to know. That's all I had to know, baby. I filled out for food stamps, baby. I ended up filling out for food stamp and ended up getting Medicaid too. I was like, baby. So the only thing that I was paying for grocery wise was like toilet paper, tissue paper that we need, like hand towels, and then stuff that wasn't like edible, I had to pay out of my pocket. But baby, I was using that food stamp, honey. You hear me? So I was like, okay, bomb. My second year into nursing school, peds was a breeze for me. I loved peds. Peds was like my little, peds and labor and delivery was like my little, I really don't have to think about much. You know, I just have to know what terms mean and what phases of labor is. It was just more like, ooh, okay, I'm having a breather. Now that I know how nursing school flows, I'm like, bitch, I need money. So my boyfriend at the time, baby, I was his only girlfriend that wasn't a stripper. So for him, it felt like, damn, V, you pretty. Like, you could really be making some money out here. At first, you remember, he was encouraging me, like, you doing good. Keep up the good work. This, that. Now, he's boosting my ego up to go dance. And I'm like, I don't want to dance. Like, I give all strippers mad props because that takes some damn courage. Do you hear me? I was like, I don't want to dance. Like, I can't and I won't. And he was like, why don't you just try to go do something in the club? Because it's fast money. You don't have to work on the Saturdays. Like, you could literally just work 2 days and really make what you make for them 2 weeks in one night. So I'm like, oh shit. Okay. At the time, King of Diamonds was popping. When I tell you popping. So I was like, bump this. I'm gonna just go to King of Diamonds. At the time, they had somebody called Rick. Rick was the person who determined what girls do what. If you want to be a dancer, you got to show him how you dance. And he tells you, he was basically like, if you watch P-Valley, he was basically like Uncle, what's his name in P-Valley again? Uncle Gary? Is it Gary? Girl, I forgot. I can't believe I forgot his name. I was just watching P-Valley just the other day. Anywho, one of them. So he was the one who tell you what your payout is, what your tip is, all this other stuff. So bam. I walk in there, he's like, ooh, you real pretty. He's like, yeah, we gonna have you, learn how to do a little bartender thing, and then we gonna just make you do bottle girls right now, but you gonna learn how to do the little bartender thing. You could be behind the bar and making some money. Girl, one thing that I realized about strip clubs, when these guys get drunk, they don't know if they give you $1 or $100. And who finna tell them that? Okay. So I was making good money. So at that time, my one little Saturdays, this was before Wayne was out from prison because he was locked up at the time. But he came up with that famous quote, live on Sunday, King of Diamonds Monday. Baby, after that quote, Saturdays and Sundays wasn't really on and popping unless they had like a celebrity there. But Monday, it was shoulder to shoulder. Mind you, I was in school. I can't do Mondays. So I had to give it up because I'm like, it's not worth me driving all the way down to North Miami, to sometimes not even come out. Like, I think I only had like $150, $200 the most. And that's even with the 20% tip that you get from bringing out the bottle for VIP, because that's how it works. Like, that's why the bottles cost so much in VIP. It's because you're paying for the tip of the bottle girl. Like, them girls that be coming out and be dancing like this, oh baby, they making a cut from that damn bottle, honey. Trust it, believe me. So long story short, I gave that up. I was like, let me just go ahead and just go back to my little $7.75. At least I know that, it's not long. It's something short. I could tough it out for like another 6 months. It's not a big problem. So I left King of Diamonds. Then my cousin was working at a chiropractor office, and she was like, we need a secretary. And I'm like, okay, I could do secretary. That's nothing. She's like, yeah, just come in. You could do secretary for us if you want to. It's not a bad gig. So I left Bell's. I was making $7.75, and I was basically getting paid under the table. And I think I was getting paid like altogether, I was making like $400 or $500 every 2 weeks. So I was like, it's not that bad of a gig, and I don't have to be folding pants and folding shirts and doing all of that. But then they got slow. So I was like, bitch, I had to go back to the house. So I went back to Bells again. Then I was like, oh, let me try to get into Mac and see if I could work at Mac. Well, Mac wanted people full-time. They didn't want part-time. At the time, we had this store at the mall called Wet Seals. So I was like, okay, let me try to go to Wet Seals, since Wet Seals is giving, at the time, Wet Seals was paying people $9 an hour. So I was like, okay, let me try to go to Wet Seals and see if I can get in there. Wet Seals still was not giving part-time. They wanted full-time because it was around Christmas time, and you know how the mall was. Back in the day, the Boynton Mall now is a fucking flea market, but back in the day, that mall used to be popping. Popping. I don't know what happened, but they literally turned it into a damn flea market. So now, boom, I'm finally done with nursing school. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all, because I had made myself, my mom made me pay for room and board. When I did my taxes, I filed as independent. Because baby, I'm not your dependency because I'm giving you room and board. So you really technically cannot claim me. Plus I was working. Baby, when I tell you the pale grains, chunky, like 3,000, 2,000. So I was saving my money. Like I told y'all in my previous vlogs, all of my friends was buying dogs, going shopping. I was like, no, honey, baby, I'm saving my money because I know what my goal is. And my goal is to buy a house. I'm using that money to buy a house. And I'm gonna buy this house. I know I am, because one thing, when it came to me and my mom, she always had us moving for the simple fact that rent was high. And the moment rent went up, we had to move. So I hated moving. And I always vowed to myself at the time, before I got pregnant and everything like that, that me and my husband will always have a house. I always said that. I was like, we're gonna buy a house. We're gonna buy a house. Because I'm not with that moving, I'm not doing it type situation. So I'm saving my little Pell Grant money, still driving my little 98 Honda, back to making my little 775, being humble about the situation, because I'm almost done with school, baby. It is what it is. Boom. Graduated. December 2010, baby. Everything done for. I graduated. I'm a registered nurse. Took my NCLEX in February, passed it, went to go look for a job. The recession hit. Boom, 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 boom. Recession hit. Nobody's really trying to hire new nurses because it costs a lot of money to train a new nurse. Like I told y'all in my previous vlogs about how technically the nurse is not, that nurse can't do nothing basically while they getting all these damn admissions and stuff until she passes in her preceptor feels like she's able to hang on and do it herself, right? So I get a job at Abbey Delray nursing home. Mind you, at this time I'm 22 years old, and a registered nurse is above an LPN. So I'm over here 22 years old working as a RN, trying to tell all of these LPNs what to do who's in their 40s, 50s, been there for years upon years. They're over here trying to get orders or directions from me. And baby, I was like, listen, I'm not here to micromanage y'all. I'm not here, like, if you need assistance with anything, I'm here. Like, it's not that type of situation, because they felt like, you know, oh, she has a higher education than us, she's gonna come here, she's gonna do this. No, baby. One thing about me, I'm always sweet, I'm always humble. I never look at myself as better than any damn body. Never. And I would never. I'm not snooty. I'm not like that, because when you're humble and you know what you had to go through to get to a certain place, it will never change your mind frame. That's for me, speaking upon me. But I started at Abbey Delray. Baby, I was making good money. They started me at $29 an hour, baby. Their benefits was A1, good ass insurance, good ass 401k. They basically made staff feel like they were family. That was the best job I ever had. Here comes my mom. Oh, you need to go work at a hospital. You need to get experience. You need to do this. You need to do that. And I'm like, what? Okay. I'm like, I can't change jobs right now because I'm looking to buy this house. So I'm looking. I went ahead and I did my little research. My credit score at the time, mind you, I told you I bought my little Honda Cash for $5,000, honey. I was still driving my Honda. Even though I was making $28, $29 an hour, I was still driving my Honda. So, boom. I'm like, okay. Did my research, put in my paperwork for a house, and I got approved. They were like, you're gonna get approved for $250,000. In my mind at that time, $250,000 was too much for me. I needed a house that my mortgage was gonna be $1,000. Because mind you, I like to get my hair done, I get my nails done, I like to do all this other stuff. So baby, I'm not trying to live above my means. And I'm not trying to go back to my mama's house. But damn sure. So I told my realtor straight up, if it's anything higher than $1,200 a month, I don't want it. She was like, okay, we're gonna work with you. To my advantage, that's when the market had crashed. Like crash, down to the bottom crash. They had houses going for, houses that were worth like $400,000, $500,000 was worth like $100K, $115,000. Like so cheap. It was so scary. But the problem with that was I was getting outbid with cash. People were just like, here, $115,000. Because this one house that I seen, and I love this house. It was a 2-story house. It just needed like a little bit of rental, but I was like, it's okay. I could live with it just the way that it is. I don't have a problem with it. It had an open concept, the kitchen, everything, and it was $115,000. It was in Nautica, right there off of Gateway Military. And it was $115,000, and somebody outbid me with cash. Gave straight up cash. I was like, oh Lord. So the house that I'm renting now, that is the house that I bought in 2012. So I bought that house, moved in. I went ahead and applied for a registered nurse job at a hospital. After my 150 applications, I finally got one. I started on a tele floor with post ablations, post cataract cath. This is where I got all of my cardiac experience with drips, with nitro, with cardizem, all of that, honey. Giving blood, people coming in with needing dobutamine drips. Like, this is where I really used all of my skills that I learned in nursing school. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, in a RN in a nursing home, baby, you're not gonna do much. You're not gonna do much. The most you're gonna do is pass out a damn Cipro for a damn UTI, or pass out Coumadin after you make sure the patient INR is therapeutic. That's the only thing that you're gonna do, baby. You're not doing IVs, you're not doing drips, you're not doing, and if a patient do needs drip, they're gonna keep a PICC line in, and all you do is you just hook it up and you prime the tubing, and that's it. You're not scanning nothing. You're not really, the most doc order that you might get is, can I get a UA for this patient? Yeah, sure. Because they seem like they have a UTI. Wound care, that's about it. So I got my experience. I worked at the hospital for a good year as staff. I met my friend named Jocelyn. You remember when I was telling you about Jocelyn? Shout out to Jocelyn, baby. Jocelyn was like, baby, I can make you wear red bottoms. I was like, huh? She was like, you working for chump change right now. Let me show you how to make some real nursing money. So she introduced me to being a local traveler. Oh, I forgot to tell you my pay. When I was a registered nurse at these people's hospital, dealing with blood, poop, dealing with urine, dealing with all of this, mind you, patient be in active heart attacks, like active chest pain, and you're titrating nitro, you're giving heparin IV, you doing all of this. baby, they lowballed me and tried to give me $24 an hour. No, they tried to give me $23 an hour. And I said, do you know where I came from? I was making $29. And their thing was this: well, you don't have much of a clinical hospital background. That's what they told me. So we have to start you like this. I'm like, what in the did I just set myself up for? And at that time, that's when this new little HCAP thing came out, and patient satisfactory right on the whiteboard and all. But this was only with HCA hospitals, because once I started doing local traveling at Tenet Hospital, privately owned hospitals, the whiteboard that was this big at HCA was this big at Tenet. All you had to do was put your name in the damn date. That was it. Because sadly speaking, these patients, they don't read that stupid ass board. Man, please. Even your manager sometimes will walk straight by that bitch and don't even read it, and be coming to you and asking you questions that's clearly written on a damn board that she insists that you write on, so the patient don't call and ask questions. That part. So 3-4 years into the game, I was like, okay, I'm tired of being a registered nurse. I could do this shit in my sleep. Like, in my sleep. Like, this is just, it's ridiculous. I already know by what they give me in report how my day gonna be, if my day gonna be good, if my day gonna be bad. I was like, yeah, I need a change of scenery. I'm good on this. So I ended up going to an outpatient surgery center. I thought that would tickle my fancy a little bit. In the midst of going to the outpatient surgery center, I decided to go back to school and get my bachelor's. So I did an RN to BSN bridge at FAU. Went back to FAU, put my application in. She was like, you're good. You meet the criteria of everything. You're still in the window. And that's another thing that I have to tell y'all. For nursing, certain things like chemistry, anatomy, and physiology, they're only good for 10 years. So if you're trying to go back to school and you're close to that 10 years, you need to go back to school, or you're going to have to redo all of those courses back again, baby. Yes. 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 And I did not know that. So, thank God I caught that on time, because I would have been screwed getting my bachelor's. So my RN to BSN, I did the fast track. You could do, I think it was 3 months, 6 months. No, I lied. I think it was 6 months, 9 months, a year, and something else. I did the year one. I did the middle one. That was it, like too fast or too slow, basically, because I was still working full time. I didn't want it to impede my life, because I still wanted to travel. I still wanted to get my hair done. I still wanted to do certain things. So that's why I picked that route. So I went from RN to RN Bridge BSN. I graduated, I think it was 2017. Yeah, because I had got my boobs done in 2017 too. I graduated in 2017, and before we can walk into the auditorium, did I tell y'all my pay? Oh my gosh, I suck at this. I was doing so good. So when I did local traveling, I was making $48 to $52 an hour, literally, with local traveling, with less patients. I was basically doing the damn thing. I could have worked more days. When I look at it now, I should have just worked a 4-4 instead of working a 3-3. I was just working my basic 3-3s, because at that time I was still in my 20s. I wanted to have fun. I didn't take care of what, do what, baby. I was what you call a money nurse. I was just in it for the money, literally. I was like, please, okay, whatever. Let me hang these drips. Let me make sure I get my tasks done, and let me be out. It wasn't no like, oh, I don't like being a nurse. This is so fulfilling for me. No, baby. That was out the question. I was already done with that. Give me the money so I could get my hair done and I could go on these damn trips. So, finished my BSN, and the moment I was about to walk out onto the stage, not the stage, into the auditorium, this coordinator who came out to be like the president of nursing, because everybody has to stand with their program or their degree per se. Like if you was a bachelor's in science, you would have had the head honcho for bachelor in science sitting there with you or walking y'all there. And she turns around at me and she looks and she's like, you better not stop. And I was like, oh, sorry y'all. And I'm over here like, what do you mean by, I better not stop? She was like, you better continue. This is not the end of the road. This is the beginning of your journey. And I was like, I'm shooketh, because I'm like, who is this lady? Like, okay, thank you. But for you to complete the RN to BSN program too, I'm so sorry I forgot this part. Oh my gosh. You have to go ahead and volunteer. This is only for FAU. This is only FAU program regulated. You have to volunteer in Oklahoma with the Indians. So in the midst of volunteering with the Indians with all my other colleagues that was online with me, I finally got to see them face to face, talk to talk, and we trying to fill each other out. And I met this girl named Katya. Katya was like, honey, we going for the nurse practitioner thing. I'm like, Katya, she's like, girl, we doing it. The moment we leave here, that's what we're gonna go. I don't want to hear no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We're gonna do it. I'm like, okay, no problem. So when I went for graduation, when the lady turned around and was like, this is not your end journey, this is the beginning. I'm like, it kind of spooked me. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, okay, God, I hear you. I see it now. Okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and do it. So I applied for the the FNP program, because you can do FNP or you can do a RNP. I decided to do family because it looks better on paper to do family, because it means like you're well-rounded. You could work everywhere. You could do peds, you could do, I don't think you could do labor and delivery because you have to be a midwife, but you still can end up working at a OBGYN office doing pap smears and stuff like that. So that's where it is. And then you could do hematology, oncology. You could do a plethora of things with the FNP. So that's when I started realizing I have a like and a need for plastic surgery. I love plastic surgery. So that's when I learned that you could be a nurse practitioner and have a med spa and you don't have to deal with a third party, because you can order meds, you can give meds, you could do basically everything that you need to do. So I'm like, okay, first let me not jump ahead of the game and let me gain some experience, just in case if my business fall through. So when I finally graduated from FNP school, that is when COVID hit. So when COVID hit, the clinicals, like all the doctors was like, listen, we don't know where y'all be going. We don't want to catch COVID. We don't want any students here. And at that time, I was finding my own clinicals, finding my own NPs to work with. Baby, I would literally take my days off and literally get in my car and drive, bouncing from left to right, bouncing, literally trying to find a doctor that's going to accept me at that time. But prior to all of that, I had got myself into a little bit of, oh, well, truth be told, my mom had took my Honda from me. So she took my Honda from me. Then I had to go buy me a car because I was doing rentals. In the midst of doing rentals, I realized I was spending way more money than I would if I would get a finance car. Mind you, my credit's not that good no more because I just put $139,000 on my debt. So it looked like I had good bad credit because I was approved for a mortgage. So that means that I have good credit for a mortgage. But now it looks like I have bad debt because I'm now $139 in the tank in debt, right? So long story short, baby, I had to get a, what is it called? A Nissan Altima. My interest rate was 16%. Yes. My payment was $396. And out of that $396, I think $54 or $67 was going towards the principal. Everything else was going towards the interest rate, baby. So I was like, you know what? As I'm doing local traveling, let me fix up my credit. My best friend who passed away, she was like, you need to go ahead and go on Lexington Law Firm. They help people fix their credit, and they will help you fix your credit. So I got on to Lexington Law Firm. They just told me a couple of security cards that I needed to apply for. Applied for the security card. My credit score went to 730. Then it went to 800. And then what did I decide to go do? Go lease a damn car. Mind you, I'm an active driver. I'm driving from Palm Beach County all the way to Dade, all the way to South Beach to go clubbing, go partying, to go out to eat. So I'm just putting miles on this car, baby. Just putting miles on the car. So they ended up, long story short, I had got a ES 350. I did not like it because all the old people had that car. And I'm like, bitch, I'm not old. What the fuck am I doing driving this old ass damn car? So I went ahead and, oh, that's how long I've been out here. So I went ahead and got, sorry y'all, so my camera went dead. I need to get more batteries. Anywho, so I ended up leasing a car. Then I realized leasing was not for me. So then I traded my lease in and I ended up getting this Lexus SUV. So after all the ordeal with COVID, that's when I decided, okay, since I cannot take my boards, I might as well just go and do the traveling thing. So that's where I went ahead, and when I moved to Georgia, I decided, you know what, let me go make some more money. And I went to make some more money, and that's how I ended up being in Georgia. Then I lived in Texas for like 6 months making money. And then I finally decided, you know what, it's time. I need to sit down for my boards. I sat down and I took my boards in April, passed it. And then I finally got a job, which that's how I work at a detox center. So that's my, I wouldn't say rag to riches, but I would say rags to comfortability, because I'm more comfortable now. I'm able to do things. I'm able to go places with no problems, no issues. Like, but I knew, you know, the lifestyle that I wanted, I knew that I could not achieve it if I did not go to school. That was my route. You know, there's people who decided, let me open up a business, and they did wonders with their business. They're doing excellent with their business. So what I'm trying to tell you is, you don't always have to fit that narrative of what society puts upon you. Like, my son, he struggled, but he didn't really struggle that much, for the simple fact that he was a baby. He didn't even know what was going on. He just knew mommy dropped me off to daycare and picked me up, and she went to school. And even for my graduation, I think for my graduation, he was probably like 3. Yeah, he had to be 2 or 3, because he went to kindergarten when I first bought my house. So that tells you he only remembers the apartment that I was in, and the apartment that I was in when I was a nurse, and this house that I rented out. That's the only 2 places that he knows. He doesn't remember anything at all. He's like, I went to what? I went to preschool? Oh, I went to daycare? Oh, okay. You was in school? Like, it didn't register to him that I was a registered nurse until it was time to do volunteering stuff at school. And that's when they would say, like, hey, ask your mom, does she want to volunteer? Like, what does your mom do for a living? And all he kept on saying was, oh, she saves people lives. And they're like, oh, she's a doctor. He's like, yeah, I get But now he can correlate and say, oh, my mom's a registered nurse, but now she's a nurse practitioner. Yeah, but my youngest, forget about it. He just straight up tell you, my mom a doctor. Okay, she a doctor. Y'all already know how Cam is. So that is my story, y'all. The moral of the story is achieve greatness. Don't let potholes in your journey defer you and make you stop going towards your journey. Those potholes are there for a reason. You can cover them up. You can literally go back and fix it the way that you want to fix it. You know, don't try to feel down on yourself. Everybody has a rainy day, everybody has a sunny day, and everybody has a day where it rains 40 days and 40 nights. But you will get through it. If you would have told me the girl that was pregnant in Tallahassee at 19 years old, you know, baby daddy got locked up, don't know what she's gonna do, had to go back to her mama house, get cussed out day in, day out, would be the woman that she is right now, I would have said, you're lying. I would have been, oh, what? A nurse practitioner? Please. I'm about to open up a business? Man, you're lying. That's not true. So go for it. Age is not a factor. I know I started off young, but it was for the simple fact that I wanted this. Like, I knew from get-go I wanted to go to college. I knew from get-go, like, I wanted certain things. I had a little bit of a setback, but even my setback, my little seed, my little mustard seed grew into something amazing. Like, my son, he's amazing. He's lovable. He's so kind, so generous. Everybody that meets CJ loves CJ. Like, it's crazy. I would have definitely, deep down inside, would have regretted if I would have had an abortion, and who knows what I would have been going through from just that journey. I'm not saying not to, if you know you feel like you're not financially ready, you're not. I'm just saying for my journey, that's how I felt. Like, I know everybody has something that they're going through in life, and I don't judge. I don't tell people what not to do, what to do. I just simply say, live your life and do what makes you happy in the long run, and that is it. If I could say anything about my story, is live your life and do what makes you happy in the long run, and know who is for you and know who is against you. Because when you're trying to strive for greatness, people will try to pull you and tell you not to do it. Do it. What's the worst that can happen? You fail, you dust yourself off, and you go back at it again. You do something else. Like, literally, I literally told you how I went from having no job to a cashier to a registered nurse to a nurse practitioner, and it was not an easy journey. Like, it wasn't. So yeah, that was it. Thank y'all for joining my Get Ready with me. Please leave y'all comments below. Please tell me